Well, you have returned. I was skeptical at first, but now I see that you are here for the torture that you desire, the bone-tingling fear that you crave the most. Some would say you're mad. I would say, welcome to Audio Stories, 3 terrifying tales. Now without further ado, let us begin. Did you know it takes 7 years to fully digest bubblegum? I'm just joking, of course. Everyone knows that's a myth. It actually takes much longer than that. So much longer, in fact, that if you swallowed a piece of the stuff, it's almost definitely still inside you. It probably looks the exact same as it did all those years ago after you first accidentally swallowed it down your throat, untouched by the acids in your stomach. But hey, at least it's harmless, right? Have you ever thought about who actually invented bubblegum? Was there actually a need for chewable flavored rubber that never dissolves? It was a product of capitalism, you might say. There's a need for anything, if you could make one. It's funny how easily people believe that crap and question so many other much more realistic things. Take vaccines, for example. Does anyone honestly believe that the government would put tracking devices in there? That would be much too obvious. If I were a government official, and I'm not saying I am, I would put the trackers in something else. Something that almost everybody has bought at least once. Something that, once swallowed, never leaves your system. But what do I know? I'm just a local bubblegum expert, right? It was my musty sweet perfume that attracted him at first, then started a whirlwind romance that ended up in a quick marriage amid the lavender fields. The 4-post mahogany antique bed inlaid with sandalwood was one of our first and favourite buys together. We had many wondrous nights in that bed. It used to fire up his passion like nothing else. I was living a fairy tale until the day of the crash. We survived, but his sense of smell did not. That was the beginning of the end. It took me a year to realize losing his sense of smell was not the sole reason for losing interest in our marriage. Even the bed couldn't save it. I had seen the look in his eyes, the look he used to be exclusively reserved for me. His eyes lighting up in that special way when he saw Rose at the Christmas party. He denied it all, of course, not knowing I had already stumbled across their messages. I couldn't go on anymore. I left a note to not bother looking for me. And then I climbed inside the secret panel in the bed and closed it forever behind me. It only had been 2 weeks when he brought Rose to the bed. She gagged midway through their passionate play, ran away to throw up. She couldn't handle the smell that suddenly came from everywhere in the room. They looked all over every nook and cranny, but couldn't find the source. He is moving to his new house tomorrow. They're loading the bed into the U-Haul moving van. He can only sleep with me in this bed. As my last act, I made sure of that. Life was as usual. Was just sitting in my maths classroom, the most boring class of the day. School is almost out, just 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes until the sweet freedom of summer. The 10 minutes passed and no bell. Surely this was a mistake, but when I look around the classroom, it was much more than a mistake. All the students were staring at me. smiling. It was a smile that looked forced, the corners of their mouths stretching almost up to their eyes, their teeth baring like some predator ready to strike. I slowly got up and back towards the door. Their heads creaked to the side, allowing their gaze to match my movement. Even Mr. Willow followed this unsettling movement. That was the start, and it's been worse ever since. Nobody seems to snap out of it. Nobody moves. Everybody just locked in their current stance. A forced grin. Forced to watch my every move. Eventually, the body started to decay. Happens when you don't eat or sleep for a long while. Seems like after the body died, the person's wide smile lived on, their flesh barely holding together that forced happiness. I just dealt with the cards I was given, lived a life. My life. Nothing changed for months until one day when I was trying to get some sleep. My brother's body had already decayed, gone beyond the ability to be saved. I froze in fear. He was in the corner of my room, but now he sits in the dead center, right in the middle of the room. I close my eyes, thinking I'm imagining it, until I hear the cracks of bones. I open my eyes and I meet the snarling grin of my dead brother. Life was easy this past few months, dealing with dead corpses, always watching. That was until those corpses started moving.